need help with the usual Power BI dashboards and looking for a change? It's time to break free from the routine and explore a fresh approach to creating them and unlocking new possibilities. Stick around until the end of the video to see how it's done. So here I have taken the screenshot to just brief you out about the demo that we're going to show. The screenshot here is about the motorbike sales dashboard. So sales done here is 15 million. Then we have the growth percentage that is 17%. Then pre-sales showing it 12 million. And lastly, the total budget having it 17 million. We have also inserted the images of the motorbikes as well. So before we begin, like, share and subscribe. Do not forget to hit the bell icon to stay updated on the latest tech content from Edureka's YouTube channel. Also check out Edureka's Microsoft Power BI certification training by PwC Academy. The link to the website is in the description box below. Now, before we get started with the dashboard, let's see what Power BI is and the importance of the dashboard. Power BI is a business analytics tool from Microsoft that helps you visualize and analyze data through interactive reports and dashboards, making data-driven decision-making easier. The importance of the dashboard is, dashboards in Power BI are crucial for visualizing key metrics and insights in real time, helping businesses monitor performance, identify trends, and make data-driven decisions quickly and efficiently. Now let's move on to the hands-on session to show you how motorbike sales dashboard is created. For that, first let's go to Excel workbook, click on it. You can see a folder that I've created, that is Power BI dashboard. So inside that folder, I have a lot of files that has been created. So I have icons and images to just make my dashboard more interactive, and also I have used this motorbike data set which gives me the data set of the motorbikes as well. So in case if you want this file or this data set, please comment below so I can provide you this. Now let's click on this data set. Click on open. So here you can see a navigator on the screen. So just click on the motorbike data set that's given here and load it. Now to check whether our data set is loaded or no, here towards the right hand side you can see the data. Under that you can see that our file motorbike data set is loaded. Now let's go to the table view on the left hand side of the screen. So once you click on the table view, it gives you the columns and its values of the motorbike data set. Now let's go to the report view. So let's move on to the first step. Now let's name the dashboard first. For that, let's click on text box. So here you can see that the text box is appeared. Let's write the name for it, or the title. So here I will be giving it as motorbike sales dashboard. You can give your preferable titles as well. Now let's increase the font size. As you can see, it's not visible. I'll give it to 24, no, to 20. I think that will be enough. And let's make it as bold as well. And let's align it. Yeah, so there you go. So here is how you can easily create the title for the dashboard. Now let's create the graph for the sales amount. For that, let me choose a chart that is card. And let's align it. And let's even give the values for it. So for the fields, I'll be giving the values as sales amount. So here you can see that my graph is created now. So here you can see that our value of the chart is in decimal. So let's change it into whole number. For that, let's go to model view. So once you click on model view, here you have motorbike data set given on the screen. When you just scroll down, you can find the sales amount. Click on it. So after clicking on it, you can see properties appearing. So under properties, you just scroll down. You can find formatting. Under formatting, you have format. So let's change that to whole number. You can give your preferable format as well. And let's check in our report view whether it's changed. Yeah, so there you go. You can see that it is changed to the whole number. Let's align it. So now I don't want the title to be sum of sales amount. So let's also change the title by just double clicking on the fields. So let me just delete sum of and just make it short, keeping it as sales amount. Click on enter. So here you can see that our chart is perfectly created. Now I will teach you how to insert the icon. So for that, let's go to Insert. So under Insert, we have Image. Click on Image. In Images, we have a file that we have already downloaded is icons and images. So in this file, I have downloaded the necessary icons and images. So let me pick the necessary one here. I will be clicking on the sales and click on Open. Now let's align it and keep it near to our chart. So now you know how to insert an image in a dashboard. Now let's find the growth value. For that, we should know the previous year sale and the current year sales. So we can calculate the growth value for it. Now let's go to New Measure. Click on it. I will be naming the new measure as the current year sales. So here I've applied the formula to get the growth percentage. So we have a sum function. This part computes the total sum of the column, that is the sales amount from the motorbike dataset. Then we have is a calculate. So the calculate function modifies the context in which a calculation is performed. In this case, it applies a filter to restrict the calculation to rows where the year of order date matches the current year. The next we have is a year function. It extracts the year from each value in the order date column. We also have given a year function. That means it extracts the current year from the system's current date. This filter checks if the year of each order date matches the current year. So now let's click on Commit. So here you can see under Data towards the right hand side, the current year column is created here. So now let's drag and drop it onto a panel. I'll change the graph into the card. So here again you can see it's given in decimal. So my formula actually consists of the current year sales and the previous year sales. So here I've already given you the current year sales. So now let's even add up the previous year sales as well here. So as you know, to find the growth percentage, I have to add the current year sales and the previous year sales. So now by using the formula for the current year sales, I have shown you that we have got 1.46M. So now let me again give you the previous year sales formula and also let us see how it works. Now again, let's go to New Measure. Let's change the title to Previous Year Sales. So here I have written the formula for the previous year sales. So some function here which notifies this part sums up all the values in the sales amount column from the dataset. It calculates the total sales without any filters. Next we have the calculate function. The calculate function modifies the context in which the data is evaluated. It applies filters or changes the context of the expressions inside it. In this case, we have the sum motorbike dataset with the sales amount. The next we also have the year function with the motorbike dataset in the order date. So this filter ensures that only rows where the year of the order date is equal to the previous year are included in the calculation. Another one we have is the year to date function, which gives the current year based on today's date. The last one we have is a year to date -1, which calculates the previous year. Now let's click on Commit. Here you can see that the previous year sales column is also created. Now let's calculate the growth percentage. Let's again go to the New Measure and change the title to Sales Growth Percentage. So here you can see that I have written the formula for the sales growth percentage. So here we have written a divide function. This function divides the numerator by the denominator. If the denominator is 0, it returns the alternate result. In this case, it is 0 instead of throwing an error. So then we have here is a current year sales minus the previous year sales. It represents the total sales of the current year. This is likely a measure or a column in your data set that sums up the sales value for the current year. Then that we have minused with the previous year sales, which represents the total sales for the previous year. This is another measure or a column in your data set that sums up the sales value for the prior year. This full expression calculates the percentage change in sales compared to the previous year sales. If previous year sales is 0, to prevent division by 0, the result will be default to 0 itself. Let's click on Commit. And here you can see under the data, we have the column that is created is the sales growth percentage. Let's drag and drop it. Now you can see that under data, our column sales growth percentage is created. Let's drag and drop the column to a panel. So here you can see that a graph is created, but it is in decimal, which I really don't want it. So now let's go to model view. Similarly, in the motorbike data set, when you scroll down, you can see the sales growth percentage given. Click on it. So under formatting, we have format and change that format into percentage. Now let's go to the report view and check whether it's changed. Yes. So here you can see that it's given it as 17%. Now, as you can see that in our graph, our title is a little more bigger. So let's shorten it down. Let's delete the sales and the percentage and let me just keep it as growth. So now let's give a small icon for this. Let's go to Insert, Images, click on Grow. Let's align and keep it next to it. So this will just show you a visually appealing graph. Now let's find the pre-sales value from the data set. For that, let's go to Home, click on New Measure, so we can write down the formula. Let's change the title again. Let me just give it as pre-sales. So here I have written the formula. In this formula, we have a calculate function which modifies the context in which the data is evaluated. In this case, it applies to the filter year motorbike data set to order data less than year today to the calculation of the total sales amount. Let's click on commit. So here you can see that a column is created as a pre-sales. Let's drag and drop it onto a panel. Let's not keep it in bar chart. So I will just change the chart to card. Similarly, I don't want it to be in decimal as well. I'll go to model view, click on pre-sales under the data set and change the format. Let's change the format to whole number. Let's go to the report view and check whether it is applied. Yeah, so here you can see the decimal is removed and the whole number is implemented. Now let's again insert the image. For that, go to Insert, Image, and click on the preferable image that you need to. So here I have given it as coupon. Click on Open. Let me align it accordingly. Now let's find out the total budget. Even that contains a formula. So let's go to Home, click on New Measure. Let's change the title as Total Budget. So here you can see that I have written the formula for the total budget. The sum function here determines that the function adds up all the numeric values in the specified column. In this case, it sums up the value in the column that is motorbike data set with the actual amount. Let's click on Commit. So here you can see by clicking on Commit, our total budget column is created. So now let's drag and drop it onto the panel and change the graph to card. Similarly, go to model view for making it as a whole number. Let's go to format and again change it to whole number. There you go. So here you can see that the total budget is 17 million. Now let's add the icon similarly. Let's go to Insert, click on Image and apply any preferable icon you want to. So I will be giving here as a calculator. Click on Open. So let me align the icon. Now let me group the value and the icon. So let me select the value and the icon together and just hit on Ctrl G so that it's grouped here. So it's easy for us to align as well. Similarly, let's do for others as well. Now let's align all of the values properly. Now let's find out the current year sales by segment. For that, let me choose a chart that is clustered column chart. Now let's add the values for the graph. So for the y-axis, I'll be giving it as current year sales. And for the x-axis, let's drag and drop the segment. Now let's align the graph Now let's modify the graph a little. For that, I'll be going to format your visual. Under visual, we have x-axis. Let's click on it and let's change the font size. So I've increased it to 12. And let me off the title because I do not want the title. Now similarly for the y-axis as well. Under y-axis, we have values. Let me again increase the size of the values and off the title. Similarly, let's change the color of the text for the x-axis and the y-axis. So let me go to y-axis and let's change the color. You can choose any preferable color you want to. So I'll be choosing black. Similarly for the x-axis, let me again choose black. Now to change the heading or the title, let's go to General, Title. In title we have font size. Let's increase the font size a bit. And let's make it bold. And let's even align the title to center. Yeah. So that's how we create this graph. Next we'll find out the current year sales by subcategory. Let's select a chart, that is the donut chart. So now let's give the values. So for legend, I'll be giving the subcategory. So let me drag and drop the subcategory for the legend. And for values, I'll be giving the current year sales. Yeah. So here you can see that a graph is created. Now let me go to format your visual. So let me off the legend because I don't want any subcategories to be named. So here you can see that the modifications have been applied. Now let me go to the detail label as well. So under detail label, you have the label contents. So you have various label contents such as data value, percent of total, category data value and so on. So let me select the percent of total. So as you can see, the title is not bold. So instead of just again going and modifying it, let's use a format painter. So just select the previous graph and go to home, click on format painter and just click on the latest chart that we have created. So now you can see that again we'll get back all the subcategories and everything. So let's again omit all of that. So let's off the legend. Now let's add the border to the graph. For that, let's go to General, FX. So in FX, we have visual border. So let's keep it in black itself. So if you want, you can use your preferable color as well. So let's increase the rounded corners and then also increase the width. So now you can see that a border of a graph is created. So in the same way, let us create the border for the current year sales by segment also. Let's go to General, FX, Visual Border. Let's on the visual border first and then increase the rounded corners, increase the width. There you go. Now let's create another chart that is current year sales by month. I'll be choosing the stacked column chart and let me put the values for it. So for the x-axis, I'll be dragging and dropping the order date. So here I only need the value for the month and not for quarter, day or year. So let's cancel the remaining ones. And for the y-axis, let me drag and drop the current year sales. So here you can see that my chart is created. Now I need the border for the chart. Let me do the format painter by clicking on the previous chart, clicking on format painter and then just click on the latest chart. So here you can see that the border is applied. Let me just align it correctly. Now let's add an image. For that, go to Insert, Image, click on the image that you have downloaded. So now let's align the image accordingly. Now align everything according to your preference. Now let's add the buttons. I will tell you why buttons are used for in this video further. So now under buttons, we have a lot like left arrow, right arrow and so on. So let me select the left arrow and the right arrow. So let's align them. So as you click on the month in the current year sales by month, you can see the changes happening in the sales amount, growth percentage, pre-sales and even the total budget as well. Now you know how this dashboard is created. So this is the home page of the motorbike sales dashboard. I will be also adding the additional dashboards according to the individual bikes, and even you can see the values varying accordingly. Now, down at the home page, you can see a page 1 written. So just right click on it. So let's click on duplicate to duplicate this page. So now let's change the image. So for that, let's remove it first. Remember, this is the duplicated page. So now let's go again to image and select the preferable image that we need to put in an additional page. So I have selected here, click on open. So I have chosen the Ducati bike here. So let's align it. Now let's even change the title for the dashboard. So I will be giving it as Ducati dashboard. Now let's add the border for the title. So let me just do the format painter from the previous graph. So here you can see that my title is containing a border. Now let's change the name of the duplicated page. Let me just write Ducati itself. Similarly, let's duplicate another page. And let's change the image of the bike. Let's remove it. And add another image. Let's add the Harley Davidson that I have already downloaded. Let's align it accordingly. Now let's change the title again. Similarly, let's even rename the page name. Now let's duplicate for another page as well. So you will follow the same procedure for the rest of the bikes as well. So let me select Honda. You can add a preferable bike as well. Let's align it. And let's give the name. And change the page name similarly. Let's duplicate again. You can put n number of bikes you want to. So let me select another image. That is Ninja. So let me change the title of the dashboard as Ninja. Similarly, the page name as well. So I will add the last page by duplicating it again and change the image. So this time I will be choosing Yamaha. Now let's change the page name as well to Yamaha. So I will be adding a slicer here. So let's select the slicer from the visualizations. And let's take the subcategory as the value for fields. So now let's go to format your visual. Under that, slicer setting, style. I'll be making it to tile. Let's align it. Now let's do the format painter to get the border. So I will tell you why I have added the slicer here. So the slicer is a subcategory of each page that I've added. For example, let it be Ducati or Harley Davidson, Honda, etc. So when you click on each of the name, you will get the values changed accordingly to the page. Make sure you copy the slicer on each of the page that you have given. So let's close this dialog. So after adding the slicer for the each page, when you click on the name of the bike, you can see that the values will change. That is the sales amount value or the growth percentage, pre-sales, and even the total budget might change. So now for example, here when you click on Harley Davidson, you can see that the sales amount is also changed, even the growth percentage, pre-sales, and even the total budget. Similarly, it will change for each of the bikes as well. This is the reason that we have used slicer here. So now let me show you the use of buttons and why have I added these buttons in the dashboard. When I select the button, under format button, you can see actions. Let's on the actions first. In actions, we have type. So let's make it into page navigation. That means it will navigate to each of the page. And let's also choose the destination for it. So I'll be choosing the destination as Ducati because once the page is in Ducati, if I click forward, it will move to the next page as well. So I have chosen the destination as Ducati because when I'm in the home page, it will navigate to my page Ducati. Now let's see how this button works. Press Ctrl Click on the follow link. And here you can see, from my home page, it is navigated to the page Ducati. Similarly, you can do for the remaining pages as well. Similarly, I have added the navigation to all my pages as well. So now, to direct to my home page, let's click on the left arrow on the action. Let's keep the type as a page navigation and keep the destination as home. So once you click on it, you can see it will navigate to your home page. I hope you all have understood how to create an advanced Power BI dashboard project from the scratch. So, we have come to an end to this Power BI advanced video. If you enjoyed it, please be kind enough to like it. And you can comment on any doubts and queries. We will reply to them as soon as possible. Do look up for more videos and playlists and subscribe to Edureka's YouTube channel to learn more. Thank you for watching and happy learning.